Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Tristan, and today in this video, what I got going on for you guys, I'm going to discuss something very simple, but what we're getting into is basically discussing the idea of sourcing sneakers and how you can really up your resale game or start reselling in 2023 if you're someone that doesn't know how to do it, or maybe you're just kind of new to this whole area and you want to learn a little bit more about how to do it in 2023, then that's what this video is for. So hope y'all will enjoy. You want more content like this, check my Instagrams, any of that down below, and feel free to drop a like in this video. Just lets me know that these types of videos are helpful, so if we could hit like 200 or something, that'd be great. But that's all I gotta say. Leave your questions, comments, any of that down below, and feel free to check out Hype Labs as well. That's my group down there. If you guys want to join that, that's another way. If you can get, if you're a new reseller, you can kind of get in the loop and learn about reselling more. Just kind of join that, and we'll show you all the basics, free ACO, free food codes, so many other things in there. Giveaways, daily under market deals on pairs. Don't forget, like, yeah, giving the pairs of these for retail to people. So if you're interested in any of that, be sure you guys check it out down below. But that's all I need to say. I hope you all will enjoy, and let's get started on how you all can begin reselling in 2023. And don't forget the waitlist for the group down there is free to join. Just keep that in mind. You'll only be charged if you're let into the group. So my first tip and piece of advice I have for 2023, and if you are a new reseller, now if you're an experienced reseller, you probably already know this. Maybe you're already in Hype Labs, you know, getting some help there because that's what we do. You can definitely check the comments. We'll have people that can vouch for us and show that we're legit. But kind of the first tip I have is staying in the loop as a reseller. And the reason I'm holding on to this pair is because this is a pair I got. I'm pretty much just staying in the loop, knowing when things were dropping. And that's what I recommend to you guys as well, is that always knowing when things are dropping around you, know what's going on that week. That's what I try and do every week, kind of right at the start. I just kind of look, you know, what is coming up and kind of, you know, making a weekly plan for drops. And that's what you should try to do, is kind of make a plan for these releases and know when things are coming up and know, you know, when they're releasing at least. So the next big drop that we have, or next good drop we have, is the Gray Gums on the 24th, February 24th. So that would be a release I would target and go for, and then I would kind of set up to see how I could best prepare for this release. And now, since that release is at skate shops and on sneakers/Nike, what I would do to best prepare for this release is make a bunch of Nike, a ton of Nike accounts. I would also have some botters run some of my accounts, right? You know, enter in free ACO since we have that in the Hype Lab. So I would enter in some of the ACO to have them run some of my accounts, run the Nike accounts that I've made manually, and then I would also go enter locally in FLX stores. And that's how I would cook as many pairs as possible of, you know, the upcoming Gray Gum, since there'll be skate shop raffles and different things like that. So one of the first pieces of advice I have for my newer resellers: follow your local FLX stores on their Instagram pages, because don't forget, like Hibbit and all those different like FLX stores, they actually have like specific locations. Like you could look up, for example, I live in Charleston, so I could look up Hibbit Charleston, and they'll probably have an Instagram page that I can check and see all the updates they'll post, the pairs they'll get in, and things like that. So heavily recommend following those Instagram pages of those stores, but also staying in the loop, having your notifications on for sneakers, Nike, checking every week and knowing when things are dropping so you can best prepare for the drops. And again, that's another reason that a group could be useful, is because they keep you in the loop. They have botters that can, again, run your profiles for you to copy items. And if you don't know what a profile is, again, it's like your account, so they can copy them for retail price. So that's one thing we can do for you. And then also, you know, the daily under market deals, stuff like that. But basically, entering on your phone, checking locally, skate shops, things like that, that'll be the best approach for Gray Gums. But hopefully I kind of gave you an explanation of kind of how you would best prepare for a new release. Just really being, you know, kind of in the cycle of things, and knowing, you know, what's coming up when things are dropping. That's important. So if you can know that and you can nail that on the head, you'll do very well. So stay up to date, and yeah, just make a plan. That's really it. Two things. And that's why a group can help you, because they can kind of help you make that plan and then also like put it into action so you can actually have success. So another tip I have actually is getting into different types of reselling flips now, because a lot of resellers are very picky and they'll only go for the hyped sneakers. You know, they won't resell anything else, and you won't see a lot of success with that if you only are entering, you know, in sneakers draws, a couple raffles every month, you know, maybe going to your local skate shop once every 2 months. You're not really being consistent with it. That's when you're not really going to see any success. And especially if you're only going for one area of resell, it's going to be very hard, at least unless you know you start botting, which we can teach you. Again, you want to check that down below. We can teach you how to bot. That's something we do. But you generally want to kind of be into different areas if you're going to be relaxed in your reselling, and be, you know, do it with a very simple approach, one that you don't have to put too much focus towards. If you're going to do it with that kind of approach, you have to be into different areas of resale so you have consistent flips. And that's why something like brick flips could be very good. We have these links that are in our group also down below, the brick links that you can use with like Nike discounts and Nike codes, and you can go in store, get some, and you can sell those, you know, different apps. Like we're about to start teaching people how to sell brick flips on Amazon, so that will be a really good thing, so people can make a lot of consistent flips there and across different apps. But basically what a brick flip is, if you aren't understanding what I'm saying, then let me explain it right now. A brick flip, simply to put it, is a sneaker that normally wouldn't be profitable, but with the discount codes and cashback that you will get on the sneaker, it then makes it profitable and you do make money on the sneaker. So that's why I recommend brick flips for that one reason right there, is because the cash back is great on it and you can make a lot of slow money over time as long as you are patient. And if you're willing to kind of expand where you start selling your bricks, then hey, it's a really good way to make some profit. And especially if you start selling on Amazon. And make sure to always use cash back if you're doing these brick flips. Very, very important. So you can check us out down below. Don't forget, in the description, it'll kind of explain like what brick flips are, that kind of thing, because we do it also. If it doesn't explain it fully, then feel free to just join. Once you're in the group, I'll explain it to you one-on-one. I've been doing that a lot recently, you know, like kind of we've had these weekly classes. I have another weekly class coming up for Bricklink specifically, so if you're a new reseller, that'd be very beneficial to you. It's in the group. But just another tip I have is getting into different areas of reselling. Basically, define brick flips. If you're wondering how to do this, it's mainly links, so a group would be useful because it's a lot easier to find links that way. But you could just check Nike, see what's, you know, on discount right now. You can go to outlets, check the 30% off wall, you know, just check out some of those pairs because there's always some sleepers in there. It's the sneakers you really don't think are brick flips, but you just check StockX, check Alias, and once, you know, again, we teach people to sell on Amazon, I'm going to be telling them to check Amazon for the prices because that's going to be great, and, you know, seeing some success there, because that's really how you can scale up your business if you sell consistently on Amazon especially. So another tip I have is getting into different areas of resale. Don't just stick with the hype stuff, because sometimes the least hype stuff with discounts and codes that, you know, again, we can give you for free, those are really beneficial to a lot of profit. Like we had some people selling some Gorge Greens the other day discounted. I mean, they were making tons on those. I think it was like 30 per. So yeah, if you sell like 4 of those, I mean, it's 120 bucks, pretty easy. Another tip I have is buying lightly used. Now, I'll give you an example right here. This is a pair that I have. I bought it brand new, so a while back though, so before they were really up in price. But if you can see, I've worn these a couple times. You know, they got some light wear on them. So let's say I was you know, somebody selling it. I just maybe, you know, wasn't really into like shoes like that, wasn't really into the resale market, and I was just like, you know what, let me check it out and just post these up. That's pretty much what would happen. And maybe I just post them on Facebook Marketplace or something, since you can always be looking there for pairs. But one thing you want to look for, guys, always with these pairs across, you know, apps and, you know, Offer at Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, first of all, don't meet up in like a non-safe location. Like meet up in a public place during the day so you can be safe, right? And maybe bring somebody too. That's another recommendation I have. But also is just check the price too. The price can be too good to be true, and usually buying like a big lightly used collection can turn you a lot of profit. If you're willing to clean up the pairs and then, you know, sell them as like, you know, kind of lightly used to different people, you can make a lot of money even just reposting them on Facebook that way, or you know, our Discord want to sell, whatever you'd want to do. But I heavily recommend lightly used, because let's just say I was, you know, someone just trying to get a new personal, and I'm just, you know, selling these lightly used OGL. This would be a good, you know, a good pair to go for. So always don't be scared about the pairs that are worn like 2-3 times or very lightly worn, that are like this type of condition. If you see a pair in like this type of condition that isn't too beat up, you can make a good profit on it, because you can really, it honestly means when you see a nice lightly used pair that just isn't too hyped like that, or well, that one is definitely hyped, I take that back. But when you see a nice lightly used pair that somebody maybe isn't selling for too much, or maybe they're like, they have it at a certain price and you're able to negotiate them down a good bit, just make sure you're always, you know, trying to authenticate it in ways you can. And the main ways I try and authenticate a certain type of sneakers, I just look up, you know, the inside tag for it. So if I was trying to check a pair of SBs, I just would look up Nike SB inside tag legit, and then I'd compare, you know, like a real Nike SB shoe tag to, you know, whatever I got going on there. Just see the photos, see if they check out, and if there's any sort of suspicion I have, then I just pass on the pair. If I think it looks sus in one area, I'm good. I don't, you know, don't overthink it, and don't just try and be like, oh, maybe it's one error on this part of the shoe. No, if you see one thing off on the inside tag of any sneaker, you need to check that out twice and maybe just kind of pass on it. And that's why I always encourage being safe, you know, when meeting up locally and buying locally, is because you can get scammed and you can get fakes. So I tend to stay away from this. That's why I only like, you know, like the Discord and using Want to Sell there, you know, mainly targeting these apps, brick flips. Like I have a consistent inventory from, you know, just bulk buying off folks, and from, you know, doing my brick flips and consistent retail flips. Like from doing that, I'm able to consistently, you know, be a reseller, and it's not too difficult. So I recommend to you guys just get into brick flips, get into bulk buying, get into, you know, because I also got a lot of deals from bulk buying this week. That's another thing we can get into in a second. But I got like, I think 4 crafts, 250 per. Yeah, four Jordan 4 crafts, 250 per. That's not a bad deal. One of them I got for 240. So I mean, we're talking some pretty good deals on some Jordan 4s. So heavily recommend. You guys learned a little bit about bulk buying, and I'll kind of explain how you can do it safely in a second. So we'll get into that. And if you're a newer reseller with some capital, this could be beneficial to you. Kind of like buying the lightly used collections and cleaning them up and legit checking those pairs, because you can find those on FB and make a lot of money. So I recommend that. And checking like your Rosses, different outlet stores. You can find a lot of profit to sell on these different apps. Don't forget about that, like eBay, things like that. There's tons of areas to sell. Like eBay is a really good one for some random brick flips. Trust me, a lot of people will buy up stuff on eBay. So I recommend that. Let's get into bulk buying though. Oh, and also don't forget about clothing flips. We can show you how to do this in Hype Labs. Make a lot of money off this. So get some free Chipotle and then undermarket hoodies, sell those, make a profit. So one of my main strategies that I have with bulk buying is gift upon arrival, and also, kind of coming to a total price for all the sneakers beforehand. And I mean, those are two pretty basic things. The first one basically is making sure you don't pay for the sneakers until they land in hand. You've checked them, they all look safe, and then you send the money to the person, or you send it through a protected platform such as PayPal Goods and Services. I don't know about Venmo Goods and Services. I haven't heard about that being protected or anything, but I only use PayPal Goods and Services or gift upon arrival, where basically I send them the money once I get the shoes and I've checked them out and they all look good. That's one of the main things I recommend for you guys, because you don't want to get caught up with some fakes, or never get the shoes, like pay somebody like $800 and then you never actually get what you paid for. So that's why I heavily recommend being safe, doing gift upon arrival or paying through a protected platform, so you can at least get your money back if you never get your stuff. So that's something I recommend at least when it comes to bulk buying. And if you're doing a cash transaction for bulk buying, legit check, please. But kind of getting back into I guess protecting your payment with bulk buying, because that was that's one of the first things we discussed, but actually coming to a price for bulk buying. So now you kind of know how to protect your payment. So again, using protected platforms, and then also not paying until you at least get the sneakers. That's one thing that you can do if the person agrees to it. Not everybody agrees to gift upon arrival, but the thing I was going to say, coming to a total price for all the sneakers beforehand could be good. So how I got a deal on those crafts is what I did is I just thought of a price for all three before, instead of individually, being like, hey, why don't we do $250 per in each one? I was like, how about $750 for all? You know what I mean? You want to just say the total amount to them, because it sounds better to the seller, and that's going to be just me from an honest perspective. I know there isn't a difference between $250 per and $750, but it kind of sounds better, if that makes sense. And sometimes it can lighten up the negotiation, so you can actually get a deal from somebody, if that makes sense. So they might just hear $750 all instead of $250 per, because then they got to do the math and add up each one, and they might be like, it's short $10 here. If you just say $750 for all, then maybe they'll just be like, oh, that's fair enough. I make a good profit from it. I don't really want to think about it too much. That's good. Let's do it. That's kind of how I at least approach my bulk buys, is I approach them with a total price. We work on the price from there, but basically what I'm trying to do is just eliminate the stress for the buyer. The seller. Eliminate the math that they have to do, eliminate the stress that they would have. Basically just give them a total price where it makes it as easy as possible for them to get a breakdown of the price, or just kind of understand how much they would be making. That's really what it is. So when it comes to bulk buying, try and make it as easy as possible for the seller, because if you make it easier for them, they're going to love you more and they're going to give you a better deal. And I can tell you, some people I've spent multiple thousands of dollars with, I bulk bought off 5-6 times. I know we're cool, so, and they're always going to give me good deals, because again, we've done it 5 or 6 times, bulk buying. So that's why I heavily recommend it, because you can build great connections. Don't sleep on the store owners. I'm saying. Now, one thing I wanted to quickly put into the video just before the outro is selling these items, since I know getting the items is actually harder than selling them most of the time, especially if you get them for retail. It's not as hard to sell a retail item, especially with these nicer sneakers, with brick flips, especially if you have the discounts and Nike codes, things like that we offer, but also things that you can find online and utilize, because there's free discounts at these outlets, 30% off, and then you can go on your Nike app, get another 15% off in the rewards section. There's a little freebie for y'all, so you can get 45% off just doing that. So I'm pretty sure I said it right. Yeah, because again, selling items is not as hard as getting them sometimes, but getting them is usually the hardest part. If you want to resell them, again, you can use places like Instagram, but make sure you're only taking reasonable payment methods where you don't get scammed. Don't do gift upon arrival to somebody you don't know or doesn't have any legitimate references. Some people can fake their references. Keep that in mind. So make sure you actually check the pages that are leaving references for people to see if those pages are legit and have posts and have other vouchers from people, because you want to make sure that you don't get scammed out of, maybe some of your first pairs, or, get scammed out of some cash if you're buying off somebody, especially on Instagram. Do not buy off Instagram. This is one thing I'd be very careful about doing, is buying on Instagram, because there's a lot of these fake sponsored posts that are scams. So you really got to watch out for those. And also people that DM you saying, they have this deal, or, they have these sneakers. So please avoid those types of scammers, like Horseshoe LLC on Instagram, known scammer. So please just avoid people like that, because they're going to, scam you out your money. So I just want to make sure that you guys stay safe that way. Be careful with, buying off those places. But when selling, you can sell on your Instagram, Snapchat story, OfferUp, Mercari. Just, again, be careful with meeting up with somebody you don't know. Do it in a public place with, people around, because you don't want to just meet up with somebody you have no clue about, because that's just not a good idea. That's not safe. So heavily what I recommend right there is, meeting up with people or at least get to know a little bit, or make sure they have references, and do it in a safe place if you don't know the person. That's just what I'm going to say. And, be careful. That also. And of course, you can sell the apps like Goat, StockX, Alias, all those different places. That just is, depending if that's really, your way of selling items. Apps are best for brick flips. Like, when you learn to sell to Amazon, we have that coming in the Discord in the next week. So people are going to learn how to do that. That's great for brick flips. So you can sell to these apps or, those types of flips and make a great profit. That's what they're for. But when it comes to certain other flips like hype sneakers, things like that, try and sell those locally on your store. You'll make more profit doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, we got some shoes we're going to mail out today for Hype Labs members. Don't forget the undermarket deals. If you're trying to learn how to get, more sneakers for your personal collection, whatever it is, check us out down below. We can help you in that area, clothing flips, whatever it may be. Just join that wait list. It is free to join the wait list, and you'll only be charged if you're led to the group, so keep that in mind. We got a call coming from brick flips this week, and if you're a newer reseller, this is actually something that can benefit you. I'm not just trying to say this as a promotional thing, since this isn't actually a promotion, since I do own the thing. That's why people like us, because some of the things that we offer, other groups have tried to come along and do, but it's just not quite like us. For example, the daily deals we do. I'm selling 7, 8, 10 plus pairs a day to members for under market retail price. Who's doing that? That's around 300 items a month. So I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.